What is going on, everybody? Zach RC here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome along to episode number 61 of the F1 Ultimate Career Series for the Italian Grand Prix. If you guys did miss the last episode, make sure to check that one out before you see this one. And as always, if you're new around here, then make sure to get subscribed for more future F1 content as the series continues on. So, Monza today, time for the Italian Grand Prix. The race has eluded us several times over the course of the series, but of course we come into this race off the back of what has been a torrid campaign so far, obviously hampered by another retirement last time out in Zandvoort. Looking to try actually finish the Grand Prix today. If we can try and win this one and take our first win of the season here, that'd be a dream come true. Of course, this is a circuit, as I say, that's denied us twice in the past, once in 2020 and once in 2021. Last year, didn't stand much chance of winning the race, but of course, upgrades were made prior to the race, and we're going towards durability, a bit towards durability today. Obviously, that's been the huge problem for us so far this season. The car's got pace, there's no denying that whatsoever. We've got one of the fastest, if not the fastest cars on the grid on the majority of races, but its durability is letting us down over the course of the campaign. So we'll make a few upgrades in that department. In terms of power unit, nothing actually died in the last race, which is confusing. I think the gearbox must have went in some way. We'll make changes to our MGUH and to our gearbox as well, so fresh parts coming in, those come in, we'll put those in for qualifying, so make sure we don't wear those too much out in practice. In terms of championship, then Hamilton leads the way by almost 20 points now to Verstappen, and we sit 96 back from our teammate in 6th place, 79 points. Lando Norris, our next challenger up front, and Charles Leclerc, after a while of chasing him on course, likely to win the rivalry now after the poor efforts in the last few races. He leads us by 5 points there. In terms of this marketing event here, how to grow our brand, I think last time we got this question out with social media, so we'll go something different. We'll go for, of the three of them, we'll go charity this time. Always nice to get involved with charity, and we'll see whereabouts that puts us in terms of acclaim or whatever it gives us going forward. So we'll accelerate time now and get set for the race weekend. Of course, Monza, only a few days between Zandvoort and Monza, so not a lot of time for those upgrades to come through, but hopefully it all should be okay for the next episode. But that'll do it for preparation. It's time now to head over to Monza and get this race weekend underway. So here it is, then, Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, the Temple of Speed, one of the oldest tracks, if not the oldest circuit on the F1 calendar, and site of this weekend's Italian Grand Prix. Now, before we get on the racetrack for qualifying, had a problem with the lubrication system, so while we're fixing that, we'll ensure that the MGUH and gearbox are now safe on the car. The energy store is a bit risky, but I think we should be okay there, and I'm not sure in terms of the ICE, because that's getting close too. I'm not sure how much damage we'll get over the course of the race weekend. Of course, Monza, we spent the majority of the lap here at higher revs, spent the majority of it in 8th gear. So going down towards turn 1 now to start our first flying lap down towards that first chicane, the first of 2 proper chicanes on the circuit, discounting Ascari turns 8, 9 and 10. But into turn 1 now, very tight round at hand, of course, come to blows here several times with the AI in the past. Think back to our contact with Verstappen in 2021. A good exit from turns 1 and 2, and getting set now for Curva Grande, the long sweeping right-hander that is turn 3. Making our way through now, up to 8th gear once again. Almost used half a battery already, of course, the energy store low slightly. So we're going down towards turn number 4 and completing our first exit, 26.722 as we enter the De La Rocha chicane, turns 4 and 5. Good exit there, and making our way now, pushing on towards Ascari towards the end of the lap here into 8, 9 and 10. Keep things nice under control and avoid going over those curbs too much on corner exit. But making our way now down towards Parabolica, the right-hander at turn 11. And I've got a decent car in front of us, one of the Haas cars, could give us a decent tow down the main straight if we get good enough run, but we're not close enough towards them, so we'll think about that another time. Maybe into the last corner though, and sweeping up to the right and back out to the left-hand side again for the outside on corner exit, out of Parabolica and up towards the lines, complete our first flying lap of the race weekend. It'll be a 120.9, 8th place on the grid behind Sargent, which is not a good place to be by any means of the word if we're in a Mercedes, but obviously work to be done, and we'll focus on bringing up our time during our second lap. Switch over our fresh set of soft tyres. And in terms of qualifying right now, Verstappen leads the order. Hamilton's in P4 as it stands. For Sainz and Ferrari down the order, but Leclerc there in 2nd place, Norris 3rd, Hamilton 4th, and Sergio Perez then rounds out the top 5. So we've got time for one more run here, and we'll go for our second and final lap of the session here, making our way down towards Parabolica for the last time. Purple sector 1, green sector 2, improving by a second right now, and in with a good shout, pole once again, try and get our qualifying form back on track after the poor performance at Zandvoort. Out of the last corner, charging towards the line, it will be 3rd place on the grid. It's going to be very close to look at the results here, but in the end, 2nd row of the grid, P3, and a decent starting spot for the race.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who'll be fronting the grid. Verstappen, Hamilton, and Cohen. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
So Verstappen then takes pole, Hamilton 2nd, Whelan up 3rd, Norris 4th, and Leclerc 5th. The top 5 separated by less than a 10th, perhaps the closest qualifying I've ever seen. But of course, qualifying scores you no points. It's all about the race, and time to banish our demons and get this one underway. Time for the Italian Grand Prix.
We're back in Italy once again for another round of the Formula One World Championship. And what a great race is in store for us today, here at the oldest circuit on the calendar, which hosted its first race all the way back in 1922. With top speeds reaching 215 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest track in Formula One. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6 mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some close action. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Cohen, Norris, Leclerc, Sainz, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Fernando Alonso, Albon, Gasly, Stroll, Ocon, Joe, Sargent, Bottas, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, and Daniel Ricciardo fills the last spot on the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. I'm joined again today by none other than Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, obviously there's a lot of development work that goes on with these cars between the Grand Prix. You've been both a test driver and a race driver. What differences are there in the way that you approach those roles?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. They're 2 very different mindsets. In the old days, of course, they used to cover up to 15,000 kilometers of testing in a season, and that role would be more about working for the team, trying to help them improve the car and drive as systematically as possible, so that the data could be analysed in the most consistent way. When lining up on the grid for a race, however, a race driver's frame of mind is all about what they can get out of the situation on that day, and the car is the tool to help them achieve those goals.
Here we go then, no more talking, time for action for the Italian Grand Prix from 3rd place on the grid. Verstappen and Hamilton lining up just in front of us and looking for our first race win of the season. In terms of strategy, we'll go for the default strategy, starting on the soft tyres and going on to the mediums to the end of the Grand Prix, and we'll keep fuel as it is. The auto strategy was offered to us, but we'll go with the default one. That'll keep us a few seconds faster and hopefully keep us fast right the way through to the checkered flag.
Here we go then, the formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out. We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
I haven't stressed too much how much I actually want to win this Grand Prix in Ultimate Career. Italy, obviously 2020, we've got denied by Valtteri Bottas in the same seat that we are now driving in. In 2021, we were on course to win it with Red Bull before mechanical failure put us out. 2022, we were nowhere as we charged back through the order. And obviously a huge swing to against Verstappen in the title fight with us last season. But of course, this is perhaps our best chance to win this Grand Prix. The last 2 cars take their places on the starting grid, the 2 AlphaTauris, and we wait now for the lights to get this one underway. Verstappen and Hamilton on the front row, the Italian Grand Prix set to get underway. Lights out, foot to the floor, go, 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 we're racing here at the temple of speed. Good start there over both Hamilton and Verstappen, going towards turn 1, thread their needle and take both cars going down towards the first chicane. Very good start, Hamilton to the inside though, might try and challenge us into turn 1, into turn 2 now. Hamilton's got the outside contact, banging his back left tyre, but Hamilton takes the lead 3 wide behind us. Verstappen falling from pole to P5 here. These 5 particularly quick cars are running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as of right now. Verstappen has come off the worst of them and now sits in 5th place as Hamilton leads away. It's a disastrous start for our former teammate at Red Bull, our former championship rival, but Hamilton, our current teammate, leads us down towards turn 6, so good getaway there. 1 place of the start, had the lead at first, lost it unfortunately, but work to be done and plenty of time to get that lead back. On to the end of lap 3 now. DRS in play for the main straight, fastest lap in our possession too, and looking to try and take our teammate Lewis Hamilton for the race lead here. So down the main straight onto lap 4, Leclerc behind us, also has DRS, 3-car breakaway here. The 2 silver arrows and that 1 prancing horse. It's Tifosi on show for Leclerc as he tries to fight for the lead at Monza. We're going down towards turn 1, we'll go around the outside of Hamilton and take the race lead outright for the first time today. Off of corner X, out of turn 2, sliding away from the racing line. Hamilton might come back at us here. We're going to hold him off just, and Leclerc now right on our tail to make our way through turn 3. once again. So leading the way now in this Grand Prix, but keeping an eye on these two cars could give us constant pressure. Norris still P4 in the medium tyre, and Verstappen still running in 5th place. So not good for Verstappen as of right now. Down the main straight a lap later now, on to lap 5 of this race. Hamilton closing in, Leclerc closing as well. 2 cars behind us, could be a double whammy going towards this first corner. Hamilton to the right, dances through, pulls side back, pulls alongside, goes towards the lead. Hamilton takes the lead. Leclerc tries the outside, going to dive back to the inside of both cars here, going into this first corner, going to try and avoid contact. We've got the out of favour line out of turn 2. Leclerc and Hamilton side by side. Where did Norris come from? Emerging on our left, and Verstappen right behind us here. 5-car pack. This is like NASCAR going through turn 3 here and down towards turn 4 to complete the first sector. Consider the move to the outside of both Hamilton and Leclerc, backed out of it. Norris draws back alongside. Leclerc fighting for the lead here. Contact with Hamilton, contact the back of his rear wing, and sliding out of turn number 5 and pulling away. Yellow flags behind us. Not quite sure what's going on back there, but we could have damage potentially from that contact with Lewis. Let's keep an eye out.
Okay, be careful with the front wing. You've taken some minor damage.
Minor damage to the wing then. It's Pierre Gasly who's got a problem here at Monza so early on in the race. Haven't seen much of the Alpines this season, save for Ocon spin in Miami, but there's the puff of smoke, and Gasly is going out to this Grand Prix and sinking fast. And we have our first retirement of the race then here at Monza. You see the Williams car going through, Ocon making a pass to his teammate. I think that's Alex Albon going through as well. But in terms of where in this race, the ICE for us has been causing a bit of a problem so far in this Grand Prix, because it's going down by about 1% every 2 laps or so, and at that rate we may get to the point where it could actually fail on us. So let's keep an eye on that over the course of the race. But in terms of our race right now, it's on to lap 7, and Leclerc and Hamilton fighting in front of us for the race lead as Norris leads Verstappen for 4th place behind. It's going through Ascario. Lewis with a very poor run there, going through turn 8, and then corner exit out of turn 10. We're trying to make a move going down towards Parabolica, closing our teammate here, pulling to the inside of the racetrack. Leclerc leads up front. Can we try to take both cars before turn 1 on the inside of our teammate into the braking zone of turn 11, and trying to make a move, trying to clear inside of Hamilton on corner exit out of turn number 11, out of Parabolica into P2, and now all sights set on Charles Leclerc in front. On to lap 8 now, going down towards turn 1. Lewis with a good run. These are batteries trying to stay in front of him, trying to stay clear of our compatriot, and going down towards this first corner. Leclerc covers off Hamilton. We trail the outside going into turn 1, up at the inside for turn 2. Contact into that first corner, banging tyres twice there with Leclerc, but on corner exit going to try and pull in front. Better gears on exit and jumping back into the lead, so only just holding these two off. It's a fantastic scrap so far in these first 8 laps or so, but Leclerc not done yet. Going down towards Ascari, a couple corners later, he's on our tail here as we make our way through, sliding through turn 8, sliding through turn 9. Leclerc takes full advantage, goes scything around the outside and takes the lead back, so Leclerc back in front now, and Hamilton, Norris and Verstappen all on our tail once again. But gone to lap 9 now, back to the outside of Leclerc going towards turn 1. No real jeopardy here. This car still one of the fastest on raw pace and straight line speed, and into turn 1 taking the race lead back. It's been such an entertaining first stint as make our way out of turn 2. And pulling away from Leclerc, Hamilton, Verstappen and Norris. On to the end of lap number 9 now, start lap 10. And going back down towards turn 1 again, Leclerc is still on our tail here. This fight will not stop. Leclerc goes to the right and pulling in front. We're going to stay alongside him going towards turn 1, but Leclerc in front by a nose into this first corner. Might clear us, tries to force us to the outside. Have the outside of turn 1 take a slightly wider line and gone the inside for turn 2, keeping it alongside Leclerc ever so slightly wider. Hamilton might try to take advantage of that, but we slide back into the lead. Hamilton going for it. Verstappen trying to take Hamilton, and Norris watching it all play out there from P5. What a scrap this has been so far. 5 cars were separated by less than a tenth in qualifying, all going at it hammer and tong in the Grand Prix. It's fantastic to see, but on to the end of lap number 11 now, and coming in for our first and only stop of this race. In terms of who's joining us in the pit lane, it looks as though Leclerc and Verstappen will both join us here. Yellow flag behind us, that's just us being slow going into the pits. Norris and Hamilton though stayed out, so Norris obviously on different strategy. He's on the medium tyres, so might try and go for a set of soft tyres to the end of the Grand Prix. Depends on when he stops, but we are away now. 2.3 second stop and clearing Leclerc and Verstappen. Verstappen's actually jumped Leclerc, so not a fantastic stop for Ferrari there. They've got work to do now in this Grand Prix. We'll try and clear and get away from these two as quickly as we can here. Bottas, Hulkenberg and Zhou all going past us here. Of course, started the mediums, yet to make their first stops this race. Hamilton and Norris obviously still up front on the racetrack. Sainz with them as always now in 3rd place as it stands. But into turn 1 for us, it's P11 for the minute. But obviously, you'll get these places back. On to lap 13 now. Verstappen might put us under a bit of pressure going towards this first corner, closing in all the time, going towards turn 1. Verstappen to the outside, will defend the inside here. Verstappen jumps in front. We're going to dive back to his inside though and try and clear him at the first corner. We're not going to clear him just yet. This time we're going to avoid contact. Oh no, Verstappen gives us a slight bump there going through turn 2, so we can't help but collide with Verstappen at certain spots on the calendar. But as for in front of us now, Zhou, Bottas and Hulkenberg all our next targets. DRS in play, dancing past Zhou, got a bit of a slide on corner exit out of turn 7. We're going down towards Ascari now, going to try and work on Bottas and try and put some cars between us, Verstappen and Leclerc, going through this last sector into Ascari now. Going to try and get a good enough exit to try and challenge Bottas out of the corner and down towards Parabolica and try and get a run, try and take on Hulkenberg too. making our way now to the left-hand side of Bottas, going down towards that last corner. Hulkenberg closing on him too. Hulkenberg defends the inside from Bottas, but doesn't see us coming around the outside into the right-hander now and trying to pull clear on corner exit. Verstappen now challenging Zhou, so we've managed to get around all three cars here in quick succession, and now Verstappen is around two of them. Hulkenberg now keeping us away from him, and Zhou and Bottas both falling away, one of them pitting, I assume, but Norris and Hamilton obviously both made their stops now, so we're back into the race lead on lap 14 of this thing, and thanks to Verstappen and Hulkenberg going side by side here into turn 1, we can actually try and open the lead a bit here by having a nice clear road behind us as well. Verstappen gets away, we're almost at a DRS range, we are at a DRS range now of Verstappen, and onto lap 17 we've got a 2-second lead, but a fault here, problem on the rear wing, the DRS is stuck shut, it's offline completely, and for a split second there, when the MFD popped up, I thought that would be a power unit failure, and that we'd be out of the race. Perez sits fastest lap, where's he been in this Grand Prix? But Hamilton and crucially, our teammate now sits in second place, and that power unit, I'm not liking the look of it right now, because the ICE is almost as worn as the energy store here. You remember the ICE wasn't really too much risk, but now it's at 69% compared to the energy store, which is always at risk at 70% now, so work to be done to maintain this car over the Grand Prix and hope that luck is on our side. On to lap number 22 now. Hamilton is closing in on us, gets his first dosage of DRS, going down towards Ascari, but will close a little bit, and obviously not enough to go for the lead just yet, but he's closing in bit by bit, and once again, as it seems to always be the case here when we're in course to win this race, we find ourselves being hunted by a Mercedes, but this time we're in the other silver arrow. On to lap 23 now. Hamilton right on our gearbox, going through out the second Lesmo and into the DRS zone once again, running wide on corner exit. Hamilton is there and closing in. DRS now wide open for our teammate, going down towards turn number 8 once more. Hamilton tries the outside, going towards the braking zone, going to try and force him out as best we can. Got the preferred line going into Ascari and pulling in front once again, but Hamilton will not let us have it all our own way. He's got a world championship to win. We're just trying to win a Grand Prix this season, but holding our lead, a narrow lead right now. 6/10 is the advantage. Onto that 24, trying to break the toe for Hamilton, who pulls to the outside, going towards turn 1. Open the door for him. He goes sliding through. We're going to try and dive back to his inside into this first corner and making our way into the chicane and trying to force Hamilton the shortest way around. Contact again, tapping him. Oh, he taps us on corner exit, but back in the race lead once more, and it's getting closer and closer here. Hamilton will not let us go. Will keep on giving us constant pressure here as he pushes further on. Look at the tyres suffering there. On to the end of lap 26 now, and nearing the last lap, bro. We're a lap away from our first win of the season and our first victory here at Monza, the circuit I've wanted to win at this whole career so far, to try and avenge that first career win back in 2020. It's been 3 years in the making here. On to the last lap of the Grand Prix. Hamilton to the outside, has DRS to his advantage, takes the lead, but as we did a few laps ago, diving to his inside into this first corner, side by side with our teammate for the win at the Temple of Speed. Out of turn 2 and pulling in front. Nice clean pass there, and Hamilton gets all out of shape on corner exit. We're going to try and pull back in front. We're going to try and increase our lead as much as we can, but Hamilton is still in DRS range. We might get one more chance, as potentially maybe even 2 chances. Perhaps going down towards Parabolica or going down towards Ascari. Out of Ascari now. Hamilton is 3/10 back for the last time towards turn 11. Gets a great run there off of turn number 10 and charging to the inside now. Almost pulling alongside us, going towards the braking zone. Who's going to brake first? Last corner. Hamilton brakes first. Pulls away. We make our way through turn 11 for the last time. He's still on our tail. Might get one last chance. That's with battery. Using all of our overtake up towards the line. Who's going to win it? It's going to be so close, by less than a 10th. We come to the checker flag and finally win a Grand Prix this season at long last. And we win the Italian Grand Prix, banishing the ghosts of 2020 and 2021. Victory in 2023 is ours after 10 Grand Prix. Finally, we've done it.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. Talk to me out. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners.
Victory then in Monza, and our first win of 2023, first win of our title defence. It's a shame that the World Championship is more or less out of our grasp now in the standings. Hamilton finishes second, the first 1-2 for the team all season, and Leclerc finishes in third place. So Ferrari get a car on the podium in the end. Red Bull nowhere to be found today. Verstappen finishing down the order. Perez, they even score points, not even sure, but Mercedes are now once again the dominant car. Let's have a look now at the final results and the standings after that fantastic race.
And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Cohen.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes move to the top of the table. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
So in the end, Piastri finishes in 4th place, Norris in 5th, Perez 6th, Verstappen fell to 7th at the end of the race, Alonso 8th, Carlos Sainz in 9th, and Alexander Albon nabs the last point for Williams. What happened to Red Bull today? Verstappen was on pole and yet has fallen this far. Perez was set the fastest lap by a good few tenths there, so fantastic effort from him on that one lap. But in terms of the World Championship then, Hamilton now 29 points clear to a race win in front of Verstappen, Leclerc still 3rd, and we find ourselves now just 4 points back from Norris and 7 points back from Perez. Honestly, after a drive like today, I've got confidence now. Potentially, it could be as high as P3 for us in the standings coming into the season. In terms of the constructors, we lead by 22 points now to Red Bull. And honestly, it's looking like Mercedes are going to sweep both championships here. But can we try and get to 3rd place for the end of the season in the Drivers' Championship? It's always still to be played for. But guys, that'll do it for this episode of the F1 Ultimate Career Series. Hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more future F1 content. An absolutely fantastic day. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.